What's going on, guys? It's Clutch Plays here, and yesterday, as we all know, was the NBA draft. There was a countless number of trades that occurred, surprise picks, and a decent amount of players that significantly fell in the draft. At the end of the day, we all know that there are a few teams who were flat out winners, and then there are those one or two teams that would be better off with a hamster as their GM. However, we can't completely judge these teams right now since these players are still rookies and could surprise everyone. So keep that in mind when I am slamming the teams who I think are the losers in the draft. So with that said, let's get right into it. Before I get into the winners, I just want to give honorable mentions to the Grizzlies and Knicks for sticking to their plans and taking two players with superstar potential in Ja Morant and RJ Barrett. On top of this, the Grizzlies selected Brandon Clark out of Gonzaga at pick 21 in a trade, who I actually had going in the lottery and was even projected to be a lottery pick. These two teams definitely come out as winners, but they did have the second and third pick in the draft, so that is why they are honorable mentions on this list. Overall though, I would give them both A's, maybe even A+. Now, the winners! The first team who I believe won the NBA draft was the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs were in a position where they were looking to trade down, but at the end decided to take Darius Garland. Garland will come into the NBA immediately and have top tier ball handling and shooting. What else do you need from a guard? The only question is the fit, but Colin Sexton and Garland can both play together because in John Beilein's system, multiple ball handlers fit nicely together on the court. On top of this duo, the Cavs are aware that shooting is needed in this new NBA era, so they went out and got Dylan Windler. Windler, being a shooting power forward who is a great rebounder, actually has a very similar game to Kevin Love, who is still on the Cavs at the moment. If the Cavs don't trade Love, Windler learning behind Kevin Love could make him their next star power forward. With their final pick, the Pistons made a trade with the Cavs so the Cavs could take Kevin Porter Jr., all for 4 future second round picks, one from the Heat, which is 55 to 60, so that's really not even considered a pick. You could get a better undrafted free agent. And then the other 3 teams that got the future second round picks too are all in the playoffs right now and will likely stay there. Best part about this for the Cavs, in my opinion, is they gave up $5 million, which shows they are prioritizing their team success over money. Kevin Porter Jr. is one of the most offensively skilled players in the draft and is honestly one of the biggest sleepers in the draft too, and if he can become a bit more mature, he will be a player many teams before the Cavs will regret taking. All around, great job by the Cavs, and I applaud your draft. The next team that played their cards perfectly was the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks had 4 picks in the top 35 to start the day, but then made a trade to get the 4th pick in the draft to take DeAndre Hunter. They gave up the 8th, 17th, 35th, a future Cavs first round pick, which will turn into a second rounder most likely after the protections, and they also took on the contract of Solomon Hill. Being able to move up in the draft and keeping the 10th pick in my book is a win. The Hawks got Hunter, who will step in immediately and become a strong defensive presence on a team filled with shooters and facilitators. Hunter also has perimeter shooting and a championship mentality to this young Hawks team. Hunter is a rookie, but he is 21 years old and is one of the most NBA-ready prospects in the draft. The Hawks also took Cam Reddish, who in my opinion is one of the biggest steals in the draft. I know he was projected around the 8 to 10 area, but his talent is insane, and if he can become a bit more consistent, he will be a top 3 player in this draft class once it is all said and done. Now the Hawks have positions 1 to 4 all set and can sign or trade for a veteran center to fill out their roster and potentially make a playoff run this season. These selections gave the Hawks 2 players who have good chances at being stars in this league, and now have a core of 5 to 6 young top draft picks. They had lots of ammo in this draft and used it to perfection, which is something Danny Ainge needs to learn how to do. JK. Don't come at me, Celtics fans, I'm sorry. The third team that were flat out winners in the draft was Denver for their one and only selection of Bol Bol. I cannot even comprehend or understand the reason Bol Bol, a top 5 talent in the draft, fell down to pick 44. That means there are 43 better players in this draft than him, according to the GMs. Now that's some bullshit. Bol Bol is an incredible talent, and this man averaged 20 and 10 before he went down. What? Is that not good enough? He's going against top level competition too. The Nuggets are confident in their medical staff to work with Bol Bol to make sure he is healthy and ready to play once he is 100%. The Nuggets took Michael Porter Jr. last year, who is also a project because he had a back injury. So the Nuggets, I think they know what they're doing. The Nuggets are in a great position with Michael Porter Jr. and Bol Bol on their team currently and should be psyched about the future. Also to add, these prospects can become significant pieces in trades if they come back to even half decent. Denver could possibly trade them to add a star to their team around Jokic and Murray in the future. There are so many other teams in the draft who did well, such as the Timberwolves, who got Culver and only had to give up Sarge to move up, the Pistons, who took Sekou Doumbouya at 15, the Celtics trading for future assets, maybe to still have assets to make a trade this offseason, and the Spurs getting Lucas Samanic and Keldon Johnson, who will excel in Pop's system. These teams and many others I did not name as well, all did well, but the final team that were flat out winners in the draft were the Blazers, who got Nasir Little. Little fits a major hole at small forward for the Blazers, and he can play a bit of power forward if they need him to. He has all the potential to be a great NBA player and maybe even a star. And at pick 25, this is the second best value pick in the draft behind Bol Bol, and the Blazers hit a home run. Next to Dame, CJ, and Nurk, if Little can develop a bit more, he can be what the Blazers need to make it out of the West. Great draft to the Blazers front office right here. Now, the losers. The first and worst loser in the draft by far is the Phoenix Suns. I'm so sorry, Phoenix Suns fans. I'm genuinely sorry. I feel it too. I'm a Knicks fan. I understand the misery. Man, to start the day, they got rid of TJ Warren's contract for cap space, okay. But they added in the 32nd pick as well. Why did they want to get rid of TJ Warren's contract so bad? Did he really have no value among any team? Because he's not a bad player and actually on a decent deal. Next, the Suns traded their 6th pick, where they could have gotten a potential point guard replacement, but instead they got the 11th pick in Dario Saric. Is Saric really that important? The same man that didn't even play 20 minutes per game with the Timberwolves? But they got a power forward, so maybe they benefited? We'll see, but right now it's not looking too pretty. Okay. But maybe you're thinking, they have a plan, right? Well, their so-called plan was to take Cam Johnson out of North Carolina, who is projected to go late in the first round. Sekou Doumbouya, PJ Washington, even Brandon Clark were still on the board in great fits. But you reached on Cam Johnson, a 23-year-old who's long but can't play defense, and his main and only strength is his catch and shoot ability? Yeah, he can shoot, and he's pretty good at it, but that's about it. You trade TJ Warren just for a worse player at his position, who is actually only getting paid $6 million or so less per year. I'm not sure about that number, but it's around there. I don't know what the Suns are doing, but at the moment, it's not looking too bright, but they could prove everyone wrong. So hopefully, I don't know, Saric next Kristaps Porzingis or something, I don't know. Honestly, the Suns are the main loser in this draft, although I would say the Magic reached on Chuma Okeke. He was already projected to go in the 2nd round, but the real issue is the Magic already have Aaron Gordon. He's also signed in a long-term contract, so he's going nowhere. I don't understand why the Magic took Okeke, but in the past they have not been good at drafting and have drafted players who do not fit their needs at all. For example, Mo Bamba, Jonathan Isaac when they could have gotten Dennis Smith Jr. or someone. I think this is a classic Orlando Magic pick, but if he comes back healthy, he might be a good addition off the bench. This isn't an awful pick because he has potential, but it isn't a good pick by any means. At the end of the draft though, I thought there were about 25 or so teams that did well and took players that would be great additions to their team and help them improve and win games right now. Now with the winners and losers of the draft complete, tell me who you guys think are the winners and losers of the draft. I read and respond to almost every single comment, so make sure you leave one down below. With that said, I'm out and peace!